Welcome back to another episode of Sidekick Strategies expert interviews, but the special Inbound Talks edition. I'm George B. Thomas from Sidekick Strategies, and today we have a special guest, Sam Balter, the head of content at Wistia. Sam's experience spans over 15 years across marketing roles at ZoomInfo, HubSpot, and now at Wistia, where he's helping brands thrive in the ever-evolving, yes it is, world of media and video marketing. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, at Inbound 2024, Sam delivered a captivating talk about creating effective video marketing strategies, sharing actionable insights for marketers at all levels. The talk title was How to Create an Effective Video Marketing Strategy. And today, we're excited to dive deeper into the strategies and frameworks he shared at Inbound 2024, exploring how video can drive growth for businesses of all sizes, which means businesses like yours. Sam, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you, George. Thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here too, because without you, there wouldn't be a show. So listen, you've worked in marketing for over 15 years, if we do the math. How have you seen, and by the way, yes, we're just diving right in. How have you seen the role of video evolve in marketing strategies during that time of 15 years?
Yeah, I think obviously video has changed across how much it's used on different social platforms, where people use it, how it's used in different things. I think for me, stepping back, video before was this really big thing. You would spend a lot of money on a video, you'd put a lot of resources into video, and it's was really ooh, this is our big thing. This is our big content asset. This is what we're working on, and putting a lot of eggs in the basket of this particular video. If I just zoom out from then to now, it's people are firing off videos in their cars. People are just making walking videos. People are just giving casual updates. People are just holding their phone, filming themselves, demoing a product. And so to me, the big change over the last few years has just been the types and usage of video has exploded, and people's expectations about what makes a good video have really plummeted, right? People can watch a video with pretty mediocre audio, pretty bad lighting, and it'll still rack up potentially millions of views. So I think the big thing for me is shooting video has gotten way easier, way more cost effective. Editing video, same thing. Producing video overall, way easier. And people's expectations of video is it can be lower quality. We just want to see it more frequently. So very exciting kind of long change over the course of a while of what has happened with video.
I love that kind of here's where we were, here's where we're at. And Sam, when I heard you talking about that, my brain went to, well, so anybody who has historically had excuses, what Sam just said is that the excuses are gone. You should be doing video yesterday, last week, last month, because you probably care more about the production value than your audience cares about the production value. And Sam, here's the thing. You mentioned types of videos. And I actually know in your talk you mentioned 3 types of videos. You went into low stakes, medium stakes, and high stakes. Can you kind of explain what each type involves and how marketers should decide whether to focus or where to focus their efforts around those 3 different types?
Yeah, and I think I broke it up as low stakes, highly frequent, medium stakes, medium frequent, and kind of low frequent, high stakes but low frequency. And I wanted to do that because I think a lot of people think about video oh, I'm making a how-to video, or I'm making a talking head video, or I'm making this other one. So I wanted a way to frame up video that's a little bit different than specific type in terms of the content, and just more often about how often do you make those types of videos. So to me, when I looked at things that were low stakes and frequent, that is internal communications. You are spending a lot of time giving updates to things using memos, Slack threads, email chains. You could accomplish and condense a lot of that communication that's pretty frequent down to videos. That's a really good place for people to start. And internal updates happen really frequently. So it gives you lots of practice at getting better at videos. then you can kind of expand from there. What's another form of communication that could benefit that's like pretty frequent, but kind of lower stakes? And by lower stakes, I kind of mean like you're not spending money on it. If the person who receives it sees it and it's like not, super great, they won't be majorly offended. And so it's like another area people can think about in addition to like internal communication is using video for sales and customer success outreach. So basically any kind of account management. And I think those areas, it's like that amount of communication you do on a one-to-one or one-to-few is like pretty frequent. And if you send somebody a video and it's low production, but it has all the right messaging and things in it, they're going to like that a lot more. So that's like the low stakes and kind of low stakes, low frequency, or low stakes, high frequency kind of content. Then you have stuff that's like medium stakes, medium frequency. And in my talk, I really focused on webinars because webinars are something that people hold once a month. They're live, and there's just like a lot of things people could do to improve their webinar experience. And then the last area is like high stakes and not very frequent. And so that's thinking about the ones that are like, I'm going to put money behind this. I'm going to hire actors for these videos. I'm going to get voiceover. I'm going to get animation. Like I'm going to put production behind this. And when you have those types of videos, you should really have clear goals. And then it gets into a lot more like, okay, what is this video delivering on the goal that I wanted to? Is this video going to be used in the right location? Is this video going to have legs across the marketing cycle? Or is it just for this one specific campaign? So I think like one way I think to think about video for people is to think about it by how frequently does this channel communicate and how high stakes is this communication? And where a lot of people who are getting started with video should start is in this area where you get a lot of tries, highly frequent, but the stakes are low. And as you get better, as you get more into your video, as you understand like things there, you start moving down the channels of like saying like, okay, now I'm going to improve my medium stakes, medium frequency videos. Now I'm going to improve my high stakes, low frequency videos. And so that's just generally how I broke it down in the presentation.
I love it, Sam, because a couple things here. One, we've said, hey, the time for excuses is over. Second thing we said, and by the way, here's a framework that you can think about using with getting started and getting through that messy middle and like just working your way to these three different awesome levels of video. I want to circle back around, though, to when you were talking before, you emphasized that creating video has become a lot easier. One of the things we like to do on the Expert Interviews show, especially inbound talks versions, is we like to make it a little bit actionable, something that they can go and look at and do. And so I want to ask you, what are some of the tools or technologies that have revolutionized video creation for marketers that make it a lot easier that they might want to dive into if they haven't yet?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I love Wistia. I love our product. I'm a huge fan of what we offer. It's an all-in-one video marketing platform, but it's like, for something simple, you could pop on there, you could screen record yourself, you could do a little bit of editing. We recently released this thing with Adobe called Adobe Enhanced Speech, where it's like, if your audio is all messed up or not that good, you just hit a button and it fixes it. If you want to just like add chapters to your video, you just hit a button and then there's chapters added to it through AI. If you want captions, you just hit a button, there's captions. You want to translate them into any language, you just hit a button to add the languages. Like, it's very easy. So I think like for a lot of people, especially if you're giving internal updates, doing webinars, doing like anything along those lines, Wistia is a great service and great editor. Other tools out there that just like I think are amazing, if you're a little bit more into production, but you're not quite at Adobe levels, like Descript is incredible. Like, huge shout out to Descript. It's an amazing tool that allows you to like edit like a Google Doc and like has all these other features in it that are like very useful. If you want to have fun, CapCut is incredible. Like, CapCut is great. It's by the people who make ByteDance, who's the people who make TikTok. And CapCut like allows you to use popular templates, and then you're basically just like filling in little videos to sounds. And I think for me, it was like such a big mental shift where I was like, oh my God, like this is so easy and so much more fun than like where you could make a fun little video in like, you know, a couple minutes and send it to like a friend or something like that. Like, so I definitely would encourage people to like use Wistia for internal updates, try it out, it has a free tier, has a good plan. If you're doing a little bit more serious editing on things, like Descript is really awesome. And then if you're just like looking to have some fun with video and really want to do something that's like takes a couple minutes and you'll get the hang of like that, like really check out CapCut because it's really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, we love Descript as well, but also we have loved Wistia for years. As a matter of fact, a little unknown fact, it was either year 1 or year 2 that I attended Wistia Fest in Boston because we were like big early adopters to the platform and love it so much. So if you're watching this and you haven't dove into Wistia yet, definitely give it a look. It is, it's premium. So here's the thing. I've been doing video since 2014, before video was even cool, right? Shoot, I used to laugh because 2017, the year of video, 2018, the year of video. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, every year is the year of video. But here's the thing. So let's spin off of like been to Wistia Fest, been doing video for years. I want to talk about the people who are maybe just getting into this, just starting to explore it. So Sam, in your mind, what are the key components of a successful, keyword there, successful video marketing strategy, especially for the brands that are just starting to explore video in what they're actually doing?
Yeah, no, that's a great one. And I think like at Inbound, it was a real, like it's always really nice to hear directly from people like what is holding them back or where they're running into issues. And so I think for me, like the parts of a successful video marketing strategy, one thing that's really nice is you don't have issues with buy-in. For the most part, almost every single company wants you to be creating videos, and almost nobody in leadership has that issue with you with trying to get buy-in to create more videos. So like that's the great part. What happens, I think, with a lot of people is they don't know where to start or where to focus on. And I think instead of thinking about videos, the more important thing to think about is like, what does your business actually need at this point in time? Like trying to make a successful video is going to be a video that serves a specific goal and helps you accomplish that goal. And so like to me, I think for a lot of people, first it's to step back. Do you have an awareness problem? If so, you should think about some ways to make some really interesting top of funnel content. And then you start looking at it as, okay, top of funnel content that's going to be good. I want to experiment with a few things. I'm going to try to make some videos that fall into the category of showing the product in use. This was data that we got from TikTok that was super helpful, that basically said that consumers prefer to see the product being used. Okay, great. So maybe that's an area where you focus on. Or maybe you have a more specific issue like your sales times are getting really long. When I worked at ZoomInfo, one of the things we saw is that like more decision makers are getting involved in deals, deal cycles are taking longer, and more departments are involved in it. So it's like, oh, maybe you should start working with your sales team to figure out how to condense that down by making videos that answer several people's questions. So I think for me, it's like the first area you should really start with is thinking about what really way does your business, like what issue does your business have that video can help fit in and solve, and then work on those types of videos first. That's one thing that's like solve for your goal. The second thing to get started is honestly just make your setup nicer. Like you're like investing the time and the effort to like make a nicer setup, like figure out what your budget is and then build something towards that. Like you can make a really nice and improved setup with like less than $100. You could make a really, really nice setup for $1,000. And if you're like a big time hotshot person, you could invest several $1,000s and have like an absolutely baller setup. And so I think like no matter what, the more you make it easy to like sit in front of your computer and make a video, the better. And so like the two things is like figure out what videos you should be creating because they'll fit into an actual problem you need to solve, and everybody will be happy when you're solving that problem. The second thing is make it easy to make nicer videos. So whatever that problem is, sales reps should be sending emails, or product people should be giving more demos, or we should be doing things for social. Fix your setup in a way that makes it easy to make those types of videos. So overall, like I'd say those would be the two starting points. Figure out your goals and what type of video will fit to those goals. And then secondarily, make your setup such a way where you can make nice videos easier.
Yeah, I love both of those. Those are amazing. So here's the thing. We talked about, like, here's what to do. In the context of video marketing, Sam, what hurdles, potholes, like walls that people, what's the most common mistakes marketers, maybe even any human, that you see them making as far as when either the mindset or the execution of what are the common mistakes people are making around creating video, and how can you help them avoid those mistakes?
Like, I spent probably too long during my inbound presentation talking a lot about like the Wright brothers, and like I spent a long time talking about the Wright brothers, and because I was very interested in, like, I think it's a good example of the fundamental mistake that a lot of people are making. So like one of the things was in the talk, I talked about like the Wright brothers are these two mechanics, bicycle mechanics from, Dayton, Ohio area, or Ohio. They end up solving flight. Great. The other person who was like basically the big person there was this guy, Samuel Langley. NASA, he's astronomer, he's got government backing, everything's going to go well for him. Langley builds these like enormously expensive, well planned out, well thought about machines that would then it would be like it's like a houseboat, and then on top of the houseboat is a catapult, and then on top of the catapult would be a flying machine. And then it launches the flying machine and it just falls right into the water. And the Wright brothers basically had this thing where they were like, the main issue isn't understanding how to fly. We don't know that. The main issue is people aren't spending that much time in the air doing it. And so their thing was to really focus on getting in repetitions and like actually doing it and crashing a lot and being really okay with the fact that they were going to crash a lot of times. But every time they crashed, they would go to their notebook, they'd write down what happened, they'd write down all their notes, and then they would just do it again and again and again and again. And so like, I think for me, the biggest hurdle I hear from a lot of people is they're in this model that feels a lot like Samuel Langley. They're building this whole idea. They're spending a lot of time with scripts. They're spending a lot of time talking to each other about the video, budgeting it, worrying about it, stressing over it. And they're not just getting out and making stuff. And I think the more frequently you shift your mindset towards expectations of consumers are lower. The consumers actually might want something that is below your expectations. They might actually prefer something that is below your expectations of what a nice video looks like. So do not just sit around trying to build and organize something they don't really want. Just start making videos and learning from those experiences. That's like one of the large hurdles I see people running into, is setting this really unreasonably high bar for themselves. The second thing that I think is a real hurdle that I think people could do a lot more of is like they think they have to do it all themselves. People are fine spending thousands of dollars with SEO agencies. They're spending thousands of dollars with other, different agencies and things like that. But for some reason, video is one that they feel a little bit less okay getting help on. And so I think a lot of the times, go to agencies and use agencies that know this stuff. They know how to create video. They are also a good person to tell you that funny idea isn't really that funny, or this thing isn't really that good, or don't do this, or don't invest here. So when you're in your head, or you're worried about things, or you're worried about the technical things, there's video agencies of all price points, of all service levels. And I think you should just, if there's something holding you back, get the support to get the thing out the door, right? And so those are the two parts for me where I don't I feel like there's a lot of room for people to be using video freelancers and video agencies more effectively, and they just need to start doing the thing on its own. Like they just need to go out and start making videos, and when they have gaps, use the agency to fill it.
I love that story of the Wright brothers, and it literally gives you this idea of create video, crash, learn, iterate, create video, crash, learn, iterate, and eventually you start flying with your videos, which is absolutely amazing. That's where people want to get to. And I totally agree with you on the agency side. We literally have a video strategy service and a video editing service where, because we have been, again, creating videos since 2014, and we love to help people make it not suck as much. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be painful. So I love both of those. I have to dive into one of the things that for me, I was like, oh, I'm very curious about what Sam has to say about this. And in your inbound talk, you mentioned Mr. Beast's approach of making 100 videos and improving one thing each time. I love this idea of one thing each time. How can marketers apply this philosophy to their own video creation process that you talked about at Inbound 2024?
Yeah, I think it's really good advice. And I also got the same advice from Megan Keeney Anderson when I started podcasting. She had told me, she's like, you're going to make a video, and Matt, the producer, Matt's going to give you a lot of feedback, and he's going to tell you a lot of things, and you can only focus on fixing one thing at a time. Like if you're trying to fix too many things, you get in your head, you're changing too many variables at once, but you can actually just fix small, tangible things one at a time. And so like, I'll give you like some examples are simple. Lighting. You might notice you do a video and half your face is lit and the other half isn't. Great. Spend 15 minutes to figure out how to get both sides of your face lit so that it doesn't look uneven. That's one thing you can fix. If you interview people, one thing that's like just to help people get a sense of the scale. Like one things I used to struggle with was asking multiple questions together. So I'd be like, George, you run an agency. How is that? What's your biggest client win of the year? And then like, was that exciting? Like that's like 3 questions. You're going to pick one of them and I'm not going to get the other 2 and it's going to be bad. And so like just focus on like the thing that you can fix within one video. And I think the other part about that that's really key is it sets you up for the mindset that you're going to make another video shortly. You know what I mean? Like once you know I'm only fixing one thing per video, you're like, well, there's 20 things I can fix. And it's like, okay, well, now you have 20 videos to fix this over. And like, that's the mindset shift is like once you realize I'm going to make a bunch of videos, I'm going to appear a bunch of videos, and I'm just going to try and improve a little bit each time, you're setting yourself up and committing yourself to appearing and working on this. And I think like, you can do that with like spreadsheets that have a million video ideas on them. But I think the more you would grade it into your process where like, this is just one of many, the next one is coming. Like it makes making video a lot easier.
Yeah, I love this philosophy so much. It actually reminds me of what I would call a life philosophy. On our podcast, Beyond Your Default, we talk about getting better, 1% better each and every day. Instead of trying to fix everything, it's just 1% better each and every day. One thing in each video over time, and all of a sudden you're going to be rocking it out, which is amazing. Another way that you might be rocking it out with video, and it's funny, I think you can't wake up in the morning right now, Sam, without hearing something about AI. So I was super excited that in your talk you discussed AI tools in video production. So I just want to ask you here so that the viewers, listeners can kind of dive into this idea. Like, how do you see AI shaping the future of video marketing, particularly with things like editing, scripting, or even personalization at scale?
Yep. So, okay. So when it comes to AI, I think about it as a kind of on a spectrum of like help on one end, AI to help, and then like AI to replace. And so I think about AI to help as like helping with tedious tasks that are boring, like that they're not really like that fun to do, like captions, transcripts, chapters, descriptions, audio leveling. Like there is AI that like those aren't particularly creative endeavors. but they take a lot of time and they are really useful. Like captions are really, really useful to videos. They improve video performance and all this other stuff. But like all that stuff is relatively tedious. Then on the other side is AI to like replace. And I think when you think about using AI to replace, in my opinion, like this is just me, like it's never better. Like, but it is really useful because sometimes it's like a very good exchange for the cost. So like an example is building a set for a webinar might be prohibitively expensive for you, but a virtual background, which is AI, is a nice replacement. Reshooting a whole video because somebody said the date wrong, like of like a promotion or something, that's annoying. You could replace that little bit of audio with something like using something like 11 Labs and just basically use generative audio to fix that error. Okay, great. It'd probably be better if they re-recorded it, but otherwise this is good. Or like avatars is like you're kind of replacing an entire piece of sales outreach and a human with an avatar, or like customer service with an avatar. And it's like, that's good. It's better if there's a human, but if you can't get one of those to make videos, the avatars are fine. So it's like those, I think, is like the spectrum. Where I think is really interesting is things that is like AI to empower individuals. And for me, that's like when AI is being used in a way where it's making you do something that you didn't do before. So like for me, I don't edit. Like I don't edit videos. Like I hate timeline editors. Like I've done it a little bit. I'm really bad at it. And once it gets into like layers of videos, I really struggle. But like text-based editing, which we have in Wistia, is like now I edit because I am a writer. So it's like, okay, great. This is exactly like editing a document. I just like copy and paste it and I delete it. So now it's like there's a certain set of AI tools, AI for turning things into video clips, AI for, you know, helping you write scripts, AI for all these other areas where it's like AI that empowers one individual to do something or take on a new set of skills that they wouldn't have before. And to me, like on the spectrum of things, I think all of them are useful. However you use AI to like, it's more important what you're creating than like, oh, I use this fun tool. Like who gives a shit if you used a fun tool? No one cares. But like if you are using, like if you are actually using it to make something great, awesome. I tend to be like, when I look at a lot of people for video, I'm like, you don't have transcripts, you don't have captions, you don't have chapters, you're not even doing any of the like really basic stuff that makes your video nicer. Focus on the AI to help area. If you're somebody who's like just starting out and wanting to get a little bit better, boom, use AI to empower. And then the AI to replace, I'm just less interested in. Like, I'm not particularly interested in avatars. I'm not particularly interested in like personalized scaling, like the way people like dynamically insert names. I think it's useful. It's just not where like my interests are. Like my interest is like, I don't think people are doing a lot of the basic stuff. I think that stuff is actually a lot cooler. But that's just my opinion on it. I think there's probably going to be a lot of really neat use cases for AI avatars coming up soon.
Yeah, maybe in the future. But as far as empowering the humans, I think we're brothers from another mother, to be honest with you, because the inbound talk I did was the future of content, human powered, AI assisted. So I love that that's the vein that you went down into. So I want to dive a level deeper because I think there's a conversation around culture that needs to happen here as we kind of start to land the plane over the next question or two. And you spoke in your talk about combining videos across teams. And by the way, it was how to create an effective video marketing strategy. Yet in your talk, it was videos across teams. And you talked about creating a video culture within an organization. Sam, how can leaders foster or build this culture and make sure that everyone feels confident in video creation in their organizations?
Yeah. And I think that's something that, like, for me, you see video culture in, or like even media culture in general at different companies. and like what the impact is of everybody working on videos or making videos as a form of communication. And like working at Wistia, I'm very fortunate. Like obviously Wistia has a strong video culture. People communicate with videos. People are emailing each other videos. People are, during our like show and tell or town halls or company internal events, we're playing a lot of pre-recorded content during it from people. So somebody might be like, I demoed this product, or I built this product. Here's me demoing it. And they'll play a short video during like an all hands meeting. And there's like these lots of sort of small things build up, but you start to see like when everybody starts communicating with videos, you realize you're saving a lot of time and making stuff a lot stronger. You feel like a lot stronger connection between individuals when you see them in video. I think a lot of companies that are remote or hybrid, they can sometimes struggle to feel connected to each other. I think the more people are updating each other with videos, that's like has a huge improvement on that. You see like a condensing of like a lot of sprawling meetings and Slacks and things like reducing. But like as time goes on, you start to think like, oh, wow, this sales rep, when they're sending a video to a prospect, can attach a demo from a support rep really easily. Like if they're talking to somebody about a product and somebody else just did a walkthrough of the product, they can show it. When something's like on a product roadmap, like I think it's like everything is like on a product roadmap, but like there might actually be a video of somebody demoing something that is actually on the product roadmap. So when you talk to a customer, you can be like, hey, this is sort of an early stage view of what this thing looks like, right? So it's like the big thing I was trying to stress is like the more videos that are being created at your company, the more people are able to use them together to create really, really effective communication. And so I think for leaders, like I stressed this a lot in the talk, and people had a lot of follow-up questions, was like creating studio space within your office, if you have an office, is a huge step in the right direction. Giving people like budget to improve their setups is a huge step in the right direction. So like Wistia has multiple studios at its office that are like, here's a closet that's been converted into a studio. Here's a small office that's been converted into a studio. Here's an actual studio. Here's like a satellite studio. So like we have guides and things to help people build those out. I think the other thing is like giving people budget to improve their setups, of basically being like, okay, we offer X amount of money because we really feel like this. That's something leadership could do. And I think leadership also just needs to start communicating themselves through video. Like if leadership is going to give an announcement or give something like that, like they should not be afraid to like get on, make a quick video explaining what they have, be like, oh, you can have comments, add things, and have discussion over it. And so I think like the things leadership should do is like basically just be a strong ally to like anybody creating video and being like, okay, great, we want to make this easy for you, provide those resources to do it, and just explain to people why, like as long as people understand the reason for it is worth it, the company is not going to penalize you in some sort of bad way, and they're going to be like very encouraging to you making video. Like I think you're going to really drive a lot of improvement. Like a lot of people are much more keen to like make something. If you have a little studio space, you could just walk in and plug like one thing into your computer, and then all of a sudden you have like a nice camera, nice lighting, all that stuff. So overall, like I'd say those are the things like that leadership should basically say this is important, allocate budget for individuals to improve their setup, and then invest in making their own spaces that are like good for recording videos in them.
I love all of that advice. So finally, I'll ask you our last question. And really this drills down to like, what's a hashtag one thing, like one takeaway that somebody could do? And so if someone's just starting out with video marketing, or maybe they've been doing it for a little while, what's the one piece of advice you would give them to succeed in what is quickly becoming a very fast changing space of video inside an organization?
I think the one piece of advice I could give to, the one piece of advice that I'll give to people is just show yourself doing the thing that you're talking about in a video. Like, don't use a huge, like, basically no matter what, if you are working on product videos, show yourself using the product. If you are demoing something and launch something internally that you want people to be excited about, you're like, this is awesome, show yourself doing the awesome thing. If you are a sales leader and you had fucking killer results this year and you got a huge, like, you know, the charts are going off the, like, going up, going to the right, show the chart and make a video being like, this is great, this is why it's great. So, like, whatever role you're in, whatever position you're in, try and make a video showing yourself doing the thing, like giving the update, going through the deck, giving the demo, using the product. Like, I think a lot of the times people are held back or nervous about video because they want to do something that's really creative and really engaging and really fun. And 100% you should do that. That's awesome. But if you're just starting out, or if you're, like, you know, a seasoned pro, try creating some videos where you're just doing the thing and doing it, like, and showing the product in use. And I think that's a really good spot for anybody, whether you're starting out or you're more of a seasoned pro.
I love that it's the show me instead of just telling me. And I also love the fact that you're leaning into, while you do it all the time and it might not be cool to you, it is cool to someone. So, wow, what an insightful conversation. Sam, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and practical tips on how businesses can create and elevate their video marketing strategies. From understanding the importance of low stakes, high frequency videos to leveraging AI for better production, there's no doubt that video is an essential tool in every marketer's toolbox in 2024, even though it's almost over, 2025 and beyond. For our listeners, if you're feeling inspired by today's discussion, now is the perfect time to start thinking about how you can implement some of these strategies in your own business. Whether it's creating more video content across teams, using AI tools to streamline your production process, or even just starting small with internal videos, the key is to take that first step and keep improving with each and every video, like Sam said. Remember, video is a journey, not a destination. And as Sam mentioned, the best way to get better is to create more videos. So create more videos and keep learning along the way. Again, Sam, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. For those of you tuning in, make sure to check out Sam's LinkedIn profile and the amazing work he's doing at Wistia. And as always, don't forget to be a happy, helpful, humble human and do some happy HubSpotting along the way.